Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you again for being so punctual. Those of you who've been to Halifax before will know that these 30-minute chats go very quickly. I will try and bring members of the audience in, but sometimes that's not possible, so you can shout at me afterwards, but just so you know that. Also, with these chats, we go into the following panel. It's kind of a seamless web, so there's no coffee break, so please remain in your seats. It's a great pleasure to welcome Hulusi Akar, who came last year as commander of the Turkish Armed Forces and returns to us this year as Turkey's Minister of National Defense. It's a real pleasure having you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. And it's also a great pleasure for me and the opportunity to be with you again. And it's excited to return Halifax and to see some of the old friends, whatever we met last year, and then to have the opportunity to have the new ones during this session. And we understand, you understand this, very open that all the like-minded, the leaders, people, come together. And we are very much aware of that. We are sharing the similar views, similar values. And of course, after there's this, with this in mind, we have to have, the opportunity to discuss the various issues, global issues, all of us. And at this point, and I'd like to thank Peter and the Minister Sajjan because of they invited me and my delegation. It's a great pleasure and a privilege. At the same time, I congratulate you for this great world-class forum. And during this period, I understand we may have some different opinions, but finally, gladly, at the end, since we are sharing the similar values, we will access to some conclusion. And before closing my points, I'd like to say a few things about the California campfire. It's a great tragedy, it's a disastrous issue. And then I'd like to extend my deepest sympathies and condolences to American people. And as all of you are aware of that, this weekend dedicated to Senator John McCain. And it was a great pleasure. Yesterday evening, I had the opportunity to meet Ms. Cindy in McCain. It was a great opportunity for me. And then Ms. Kane, you should be aware of that. I will, and all of us will in Turkey, will continue to remember the Senator John McCain as a maverick, a great soldier, great man, and a great patriot. Thank you.
Thank you, and for those very kind words. Turkey is often in the news for all sorts of reasons, very much a frontline state in the war on terror, a pivotal country in the region, and an emerging economy of ever greater stature. Sometimes Turkey is in the news for reasons which are not Turkish, and this year, one of the most gruesome events that I can remember, and many of us can remember, took place on October the 2nd in Istanbul, when Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi dissident and writer, entered the Saudi consulate, leaving his wife-to-be behind to get some routine papers, and she and no one else ever saw him alive again. You'll have noticed that in today's American press, the CIA has been reported as coming out saying that this went right to the top. There was no question about it. This is something Turkey has been saying for some time. What do you have to add to this?
How we came to this point, let me say a few words about what happened on the 2nd of October and then after that. First of all, all of us found out that Jamal Khashoggi, this is Kemal Khashoggi, and was an innocent and the innocent man, and they working, doing his job as journalist. And for some the personal reason, he was getting married, to my knowledge, came to the Istanbul with his fiancée to get to do some the paperwork within the Saudi consulate. And he went to the consulate with his fiancée. While his fiancée waiting at the door, before entering Khashoggi, told his fiancée, I will do this, I will do that, and maybe it will finish, let's say 30 minutes, 1 hour. If he doesn't come out, ask the fiancé to call this and this, some friends, civilian friends. And yes, he went in, entered inside, and then he didn't come out. And the fiancé called some the Turkish guys, and then the Turkish guys after that, after understanding what's going on, there's something wrong, they called the police and some the intelligence members, and then the investigation started. That means after the possibly real event happened, let's say this and this hour, and then after that, after 3 hours, after 4 hours, all the prosecutor and the police started to investigate this issue. This is critical because we understand they did something inside. First, let me say on the 1st of October, 15 Saudi Arabia, Saudis came from Saudi to Istanbul, 15 people. And then the 3 more added to them, and then totally it turned to be the 18. So the 18 people committed this event. This was also confirmed by the Saudi prosecutor. So the 18 people at the moment in custody in Saudi Arabia.
And these, in that period, as you said, when his fiancée realized that something had gone wrong and she made the phone calls, it was in that period, this is a period of 2 to 3 hours, according to your intelligence services, something like that.
Something like that.
And is it the case that you believe that it was during that period that, however gruesome this is to say, the dismembered body of Jamal Khashoggi was removed from the embassy, and then what happened, as far as you understand it?
So this is many of those issues, hypothetical, possibly they committed the murder, and then after that, in 3-4 hours, they left Turkey, and because of the diplomatic, immunity, they left very easily without having a problem with the luggage. Possibly within the luggage, they carried the dismembered the body of the Khashoggi.
So hold on a second. You're saying that at Ataturk Airport, as you understand it, I could have been there with my daughter coming into Turkey as a tourist, and a Saudi death squad was carrying body parts of Jamal Khashoggi through that airport in diplomatic bags.
Possibly, we didn't know yet. It was not confirmed. But since they have under the title of the diplomatic passenger, they are coming going, and then they have some diplomatic courier right to carry some of those luggage without control.
What we see, the latest thing we've seen from Saudi Arabia, is that they are going to prosecute, and they've already talked about the sentence, which is interesting. The sentence comes before the trial, and the sentence being the death penalty.
5 of them.
For 5 of them. I put it to you, they're going to execute the witnesses.
This is another story, but our story is our Turkish prosecutor insistently requesting Saudi Arabia to return those 18 people to Turkey back to be tried, because the crime happened in Turkey, in the consulate is in Turkey, in Istanbul. So we are expecting the Saudis to send those 18 people. But still, there is no answer. There is no how to say response to our request. And again, within insight to some of those evidence, possibly the Khashoggi strangled as soon as he enters the consulate. After that, dismembered, and in any way, they removed the parts of the body from the consulate. Because the 2 or 3 times some the prosecutor had some expertise, they made some the work within the consulate, but they could find nothing. And the more importantly, one of the most important issue we can derive from all these the evidence, this murder, this crime, premeditated. It is not happen in a second. It was premeditated, and then those people sent to Istanbul, and then they did the so-called their work.
So just to clarify, Turkey has asked the Saudis to extradite these men, I presume they were men,
yes.
18 men to Turkey. This is a formal extradition request.
True.
And the Saudis have not responded, so as far as you know.
At this end, so far no. Because another the important situation within those the 18 people, all of them from different institutions in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. They very mixed the group of the people, 18 people. So this is what we requested to return to Turkey. And then after the murder, and they left, we understand, and we see, premeditated. And again, another important issue, this sort of issue, all of us very much aware of that. We know that it is not so difficult. It must be directed by a higher authority. This is one of another key issue. So this is the question: are the investigator, are the prosecutor working on that? And our position, finally, again and again, we are requesting. And through the different ways, from the Saudis, sometimes the telephone calls, sometimes the official papers, to give them back, to return them back to Turkey to be tried. This is our position.
Right. I mean, I understand it's your position. It's not going to happen, is it? If we're honest about it.
We are expecting. We are requesting.
Right.
We are requesting. We will see.
We'll see, but it's not going to happen, is it? One of the interesting things about this was, first of all, everybody who's interested in spyware will be interested to know, and I'm sure you're not going to tell us, how you had the recording in the Saudi embassy in the first place, and how many other embassies have recording devices in them. I'm not being naive.
I didn't say anything that we recorded.
Okay.
Some evidence. But another important issue, thank you for this question. You remind me that we shared all the way, whatever we have, with our allied countries within the frame of the NATO, the United States, Germany, France, Canada, and also the France. UK. Sorry,
and this
UK.
is an interesting point, because one of the things that, as you're very well aware, Turkey has faced quite a lot of criticism since the attempted coup in your country. And the question has arisen in many people's minds as to how committed either Turkey is to NATO or NATO is to Turkey. But this is an instance where you went through the NATO channels.
Of course, yes.
Right.
This is a very obvious, very simple issue, but there are some people, we don't know what their motivation is. Or they are coming out and saying the lots of things about the relation between Turkey and the NATO. Not in this case, but in many cases, almost in every issue, we are dealing with NATO, and then why the eyewitness is the chairman of the military committee.
And that in itself leads on to the question, and as I say, this is a very quick, we only have 15 minutes left, and you can see how quickly this has gone. I raised the point about Turkey's relationship with the West. Let's be a little bit more specific. What is Turkey's relationship with the Trump administration?
We have a very good communication with the United States, despite the lots of the different issues, different problems that we have to resolve But we are going well at the different levels among the politicians, among mostly the military, very good relation. And then we are discussing our problems, and very openly, very clearly, very frankly. For instance, yesterday night, yesterday evening, I had the opportunity to talk with U.S. Senators. It was a great privilege, great opportunity for me. And over there, we could discuss almost every issue in detail. And then as I said at the beginning, we have the like-minded people, and then we have the safe orientation, and then we are aiming to support democracy, safety, stability, and then also the peace, and all over the region, all over the world. And then we are member of full member of NATO, and then we are how to say, doing our jobs, and then whatever we committed to NATO. And within this perspective, despite some difficulties, some problems, we continue. And then yes, within this problems, we are expecting our counterparts to understand our position, and then to support us, and then in our effort to find a solution, they want to come with them. And also this morning, and I had a very good discussion and a conversation, a meeting with my dear friend, General Danford. And also we discussed every issue in this way, in that way. And there is no relation between the two countries without having any problem.
Wait.
So
I mean, I remember very well this debate about Turkey and what's going on in Turkey, and there've been a lot of arrests, and there's a lot of concern in Western countries about the civil rights situation in Turkey, and I do want to address that. But I also want to address the point that is often not raised in this context, and that is, I remember very clearly when the coup d'etat was taking place, and I know you remember it very clearly because you were under arrest by the would-be coup plotters. I remember watching in real time when the Obama administration remained silent whilst the coup was taking place. This is not an opinion, it's a matter of fact. Observably, there was no condemnation of the coup for quite some time. Is there a lot of resentment about that in Turkey?
But before that, let me finish this relation issue. I'm frankly, sincerely, openly, yes, as I said, we are communicating, we are talking, we are discussing our problems between Turkey and the United States, but also we have some problems. The main problem over there, let me say, this is very important for us, the YPG issue. Our American friends, within this, a little bit difficult in understanding our position. We are saying that there is no difference between the terrorist organizations, PKK, YPG, and the Daesh, and the Fethullahçı terrorist organization, and Al Qaeda. All of them terrorists. And all of them, in some cases, and then to some extent, how to say, harming our people, harming the security forces. So that we are against totally all of them. And then we are requesting our friends to be with us while we are fighting against terrorist organizations, all of them, regardless of who they are. And the important issue, they are killing my soldiers, our soldiers. They are killing our innocent people. And then it is really difficult to understand for us, for Turkish public, for Turkish media, our friends and the US, the tens of thousands of the trucks and the airplanes, sending to those gangs, terrorists, the YPG, weapons, ammunition, and then the lots of the different kinds of the equipments. And then this is under the eyes of the whole people. We are monitoring very closely, and then within the media, there are lots of pictures. And then plus, recently, within the media, pictures of the YPG with the American soldiers. Around, they are eating, they are drinking, it is not good. Make an empathy. It is impossible to understand for us. So this is one of the key issues we are requesting our American colleagues, American friends, to stop this relation and then to find out something else. And now turning to your question, FETÖ made great harm in Turkey, and then they destroyed lots of things, lots of destructive whatever they did. And then they left, the 251 dead. They killed. Who killed? He didn't do that. He didn't do that. Who did it? So there are lots of evidence. 85, the binders already, given to the Secretary of Justice, and also the tens of thousands of the papers already sent. So we are requesting to look at the issue and then to understand the real situation. So we have the agreement between the Turkey and the United States about the extradition. So we are requesting those people, head of the FETÖ and then the other members of the FETÖ, to Turkey to be tried. And then to give the answer to those question. Who killed all those people? The 251 again, and then the more than 2,000 people wounded.
So, and just to return to the specific point that I'm raising, I mean, is it to this day? I mean, we're only talking about 2 years ago. I mean, President Erdogan, yourself personally, many of your colleagues, must know that when you're dealing with Western countries, that those same Western countries wanted that coup to succeed.
There is no, the open evidence about this issue, but we are always trying to keep open the doors of the dialogue, and then in every case, in every opportunity, we are trying to convince our counterparts in Europe, in the States, and then everywhere. But if you look at the issue, it's very clear, very open. And then we don't expect, we don't like to give the similar harms to those countries as well. Because they are something like a virus coming into and then they are innocent appearance, and then they are doing every cynical activities.
And the fact remains that there is tremendous cooperation right now. I mean, can you tell us what is happening today in terms of cooperation between, and I mean actually today, between Turkey and the United States in Syria, for example? What is actually happening on the ground right now?
About the relation, fortunately, after the Brunson case, the situation is much better. And then 2-3 days ago, again, our presidents came together in Paris. After that, they had a telephone call, and then they are discussing every issues, and then they are putting the frame for us, for the military, and then for the rest of the other government members. And in Syria, and we are dealing with the issue, as I said before, with my dear colleagues, as the minister and secretary, or as military to military. In Manbij, we have another problem area. In Manbij, the YPG occupied there 2-3 years ago, and before going there, we talked and then discussed the issue with the U.S. side, and then we decided to do this, to do that. But after that, unfortunately, we couldn't accomplish all of those agreements. Now, this year we had a roadmap to evacuation of the Manbij. Now it is working, slow but working. And the first individual patrols, now the joint combined patrol already started, and the third one already carried out. And we are planning to remove the YPG from the Manbij, and then collecting the heavy weapons, whatever they did. The U.S. gave, Americans give the YPG, and then we are trying for the local government and the local security forces, and this plan is underway. And I think we will accomplish it very soon.
And just before, I will turn for a couple of quick questions to the audience, but we only have 6 minutes left. Just tell us, what about the refugee situation? We heard from Mrs. McCain this morning in presenting the McCain Prize to the people of Lesbos. Turkey has been a recipient of millions of refugees. What is the situation right now? How many are coming across the border?
First, personally, Ms. McCain, I already invited her to come to Turkey, and it will be a great pleasure and a great privilege for us, and then to go around and to show what the real situation is in my country. It will be a great pleasure, privilege for me, ma'am. And we are waiting for you. Currently, in Turkey, 3.5 million already registered the refugee, came from the Syria and came from the Iraq as well. And then we are hosting them in Turkey, and then we are trying to do our best as a host. And of course, this is not free. This is bringing a great cost economically, socially, and politically. And so far, within the official figures, we had to pay the $33 billion from the Turkish budget. However, some of our friends, first the European Union, promised to do this, to do that, but all of them insufficient. And we had to deal with the issue with our national budget. This is what we are trying to do. Yes, obviously the Turkish people showing the great generosity to host them, but to some extent, after that there may be lots of problem. So in our policy, we are aiming not to keep them all the way in Turkey, but at the same time we are trying to prepare the conditions for them to back their homes. And then so far almost 300,000 already returned their homes in the northern part of the Syria.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't think there's a lot of recognition that people are actually going back across the border.
True. This is what we are working for. And then I hope within the upcoming days, depending on the situation in the area, because we have to talk with the United States, we have to talk with the Russians, and we have to try to have the safe and secure environment for them. As long as we do that, they are going back, and it's I think the best way. For instance, within the Africa, everything is turning to be a very normal way of life at the moment. Mm-hmm. Of course, the infrastructure, another burden on the shoulder of the Turkey, because we are requesting some of the institutions, some of the countries to do this, to do that, but unfortunately they are very, very slow in response.
Let's have a quick question from the audience. I saw that gentleman first, so I have to be fair and give very, very quick questions.
Yeah, thanks. Tom Rideout, Director, Centre for US and Europe at the Brookings Institution. Yesterday, Turkey arrested Hakan Altani, who used to be a non-resident senior fellow at Brookings. So I'm just wondering how you reconcile that and the arrest of 12 other academics yesterday with your participation in this forum, which is on democracy and human rights and freedom today. Thank you.
Okay, one more quick question. Yes, please. Yep, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, David Smolansky, the Organization of American States. I'd like to know how are the relations between the Turkish government and Venezuelan government related to security and defense? And if is the Turkish government aware of the 3 million Venezuelans refugees that are now spread in whole South America since 2014? Thank you.
Okay, sorry, we have no more time, so very quickly, Minister, please.
First of all, in Turkey, we have the rule of law, democracy, all of them, the institutions are working very well. And within this case, the people coming to Turkey and doing this, doing that, and then they have some titles, the commercial and or the academicians or the journalists, but not because of the journalists, not because of they are the academics, but because of the actions they committing something a crime. So before the prosecutor, before the court, they will prove who they are the innocent. After that, there will be no problem. There are many people always they are using those cases against Turkey because of this. All the people over there there are lots of journalists writing against me, against the president, against all of us, and then they're saying everything. But as a journalist, as academics, all of them are welcome. Nothing to do. But behind all those the events, they are doing this, they are doing that, and then they are asking us not to see all of them while they are working, committing something against our law. The Venezuela issue,
Venezuela, yes. And he was saying that Venezuela is a country with tremendous refugee crisis, and are you aware of how there's a refugee crisis in Latin America? And also, what sort of relationship you have with Venezuela?
Oh yes, recently we had some guests from Venezuela, and then we talked with them as well, and then we shared whatever we experienced within this refugee problems coming from Syria and Iraq. And also, they request, to send some delegation to Turkey to they share our experience with them, and then we said, very welcome.
Okay. Time's up. Thank you very much, Minister. We covered an awful lot of ground in a very short space of time, and I want to thank you very much for doing so.
Thank you. Thank you.